Gorgeous track called California from the new self-titled Magic Hour album. And on the line right now I have Gemma calling from Adelaide, who is one of the members of Magic Hour. How are you doing, Gemma?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well myself also. What are you doing in Adelaide?
Well, I actually live here at the moment.
Okay, yep.
So, and Ian, the other half of this band, lives in Sydney. So I've been doing a lot of toing and froing from Sydney and Adelaide lately.
How has that impacted the creation of this album?
It was a really interesting process, actually. I moved here a couple of years ago, and we'd started writing the album before I left. So we probably had about half an album's worth of songs written, but still, and kind of rough recordings of them. And then I moved here, and Ian did most of the production in his studio at home. So we did, he kind of noodled around obsessively at home, and then he would send me MP3s in Adelaide, and I'd say what I'd think of them. And then, and then I'd go up and spend a couple of days or a week or a couple of weeks, depending on what we felt like doing. And then we'd sort of work on them intensely, and then I'd come back here, and then he'd do some more work on them, and that's probably why it took so long to make.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was interesting.
I imagine being able to work in with your own studio would have been quite liberating.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was really good, actually. I really enjoyed the whole process of writing and recording. I was in another band 10 years ago called Cactus Child, and we did that whole big record company thing and big studios and, shitloads of money spent, and it was just really enjoyable. Like, Ian actually lived in a flat overlooking the ocean, and we'd sort of sit around, have a glass of wine, write some songs, and record really sort of, instantly. We could change as much as we wanted, and not worry about what people thought of them. It was very liberating.
Yeah, and it's been an awesome result. Of course, we're talking about Ian Houston Shadwell, who he was in Cactus Child with you.
Yeah.
I actually remember buying Daphne's back in the day, and was kind of a bit of a fan of Cactus Child.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
nice.
was.
Do you know what? I actually listened to it again the other day, and because we launched the Magic album in Sydney this weekend we just had, and we said, why don't we sort of play a couple of old Cactus Child songs, acoustic versions of them, and we listened to it, and there was a couple of songs on there I so loved, particularly those beautiful songs like Diaphanes that had the string section, and Yeah, I thought actually I might take a trip down memory lane and play a song from that album. I haven't heard it in a long time myself, so but it beggars the question, what have you been doing in between? Yes. Well, Ian's been quite busy. He was doing, after Cactus Child, he did another band with a guy called Tim Hall, who was in a band called The Strange, but he's done many things since then as well. He's actually just recently been touring with Girl Talk. And he did a band called Chakra Diva, and they did quite a lot of touring. They toured with Kylie Minogue. It was a completely different type of music. Like, I think the thing was Cactus Child was quite folky and, I guess eclectic, really. I mean, it had lots of different things going, and at different stages. But it was also on that sort of cusp of when things were really changing in terms of production, where home studios really just sort of were really becoming more accessible at the end of Cactus Child. So, and all of that kind of ability to record and write your own dance music and stuff was happening after, or towards the end of what we were doing, and he got really into that. And we've both been doing lots of different things. I had children, I did some study, worked some normal jobs, did lots of singing and teaching and, just heaps of other stuff.
Yeah, a bit of life.
Yeah.
So how long did this album eventually take you?
I hate to say it, but it was about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's essentially just the two of you?
Yeah. There's a couple of other people who played little parts on it, but almost everything on the album was played by Ian. I played little bits here and there, like a couple of guitar tracks. I played some keyboard tracks, and all the singing and stuff. But Ian is quite obsessive and played lots of the instruments on the track. I mean, on the record, some of the tracks have got hundreds of sounds on them.
Yeah. Now, there's no launch scheduled for Melbourne yet, but you are hoping to get here soon?
Yeah, we are. We really want to come down and play a gig so much. We just had to focus all our energy on trying to just kind of give it some kind of celebratory, launchy thingy.
Yeah.
So we had a great weekend. We had a really big party. It was fantastic. And we'd really like to come down to Melbourne really soon. So I'm going to get onto that. And, it'd be really... Because we used to love coming to play in Melbourne, and I love Melbourne as a city. So if people want to hear it, I hope they do. The record's out now. They can buy the record at in stores, JB Hi-Fi, or they can just go to vitamin.net.au and buy it. And if people are interested in having us there, we'd so love to come and play.
Oh, maybe we'll get someone to organise it for you.
Fantastic. That would be really great.
I also, the cover image of the girl with the umbrella is really gorgeous as well. Where does this come from?
I love that too. I think it took us almost as long to come up with a name and the CD cover as it did to actually make the whole album. We found that we were searching through ideas of what we wanted it to look like, and we were originally going to do a photo, and, we had some ideas we were toying around with, and then we just kind of were searching around on the net, and we found that photo, and it was taken by a Scandinavian photographer, so we contacted him and asked him if we could use it, and he gave us permission to use it.
Awesome, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful as well. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go out with a track. I am going to play Cactus Child soon, so stay tuned, listeners. But we're going to go out with Crazy. Can you tell us a little bit about that track?
Crazy is, it's one of my favourite songs on the album. It's, the lyric is that in the chorus, no one's going to save your ass for you. It's really a song about friendship, but also about watching your friends kind of, or even yourself when you just stuff things up continuously, or, you're just going through a stage where things just aren't going right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard to get yourself out of that situation, or even help your friends when they're in those situations. And I think it's sort of a statement about friendship, but it's also about how, really when it comes down to it, no one can help you but yourself.
Yeah. I can totally relate to that.
Can you?
I absolutely can. Okay, we are talking to Gemma Deacon from Magic Hour. She's just been talking about the song Crazy, which we're going to hear in a moment. Thanks so much for talking to us, Gemma.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No
problem.
Love
your radio station.
We look forward to seeing you down here very, very soon.
Okay, great.
And this is Crazy on Triple R.